music from morning till evening. Now you can listen straight to Cool 97.5 anywhere around the world through your gadgets. Just type zeno.fm/cool975 or visit our website at cool975.weebly.com. Cool 97.5, bringing the good news and positive music worldwide. Subscribe, share, like, and follow us now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch TV, and Instagram.
Cool 97.5. Cool 97.5.
Sounds beyond cool.
Thirsty, cool music, refreshing sounds on Cool 97.5.
Sa bawat tanaw ay may pagkakataon Pagkilala ang kabutihan ng Panginoon Nasumpong ng pag-asa'y huwag ikukuli Ang mabuting balita'y dapat ibahagi
Yes, good morning Baguio City. Oras po natin ay 10 more minutes before we hit lunchtime. And we're saying good morning and welcome to the radio station. Ma'am Alambra, meron po tayong mga special announcements. Particularly, babalik na po ang programang Up North with Alambra. Hello ma'am, good morning po.
Hello, good morning po.
Kumusta na po kayo ma'am?
Oh, I'm fine.
Ayan ma'am, pwede nyo pindutin yung ating mikropono.
Ayan, sorry.
Ayun.
So, good morning din po. I'm fine. And I'm raring to start this program kasi nga, di ba, napag-usapan natin last year pa. And alam mo, yung mga pamahiin ng magulang ay you start on the first month, particularly if not the first day, on the first week. So, today is January 7, so I told myself, why not? I was in fact asking kung pwedeng Wednesday, di po ba? Oo, kasi yung unang programa ko nga po, yung precursor of this program, na ganyan din po ang pangalan, Up North with Alambra. It was every Wednesday po. But now, at least sa revival niya, Thursday naman.
And
So,
I was able to
that's okay.
watch so many episodes long time ago. Ma'am, there were write-ups, no? They came out years ago. Eto po yung balik tanaw po tayo.
That's nice! Oo.
Ma'am, yung inyong programa po dati na kailan po nag-start? Ano pong, paano, how did the concept start? At paano po yung mga behind the scenes na nangyari po before you were able to establish Up North with Alambra?
Okay. So ang kwento niyan, I was with the when I was with the Philippine Star, when I was just starting in media, para historical siya, I was based here in Baguio City.
In Baguio?
Yes, I was with the Philippines News Agency. I was the deputy bureau chief for the relay stations in Northern Luzon. And the relay stations were in Baguio and San Fernando, La Union. Alternating po yun. No, we were receiving and copy editing filers from like 5 bureaus, yung Ilocos North, Lawag, San Fernando, La Union, Dagupan, and Baguio and Tuguegarao. Yan, ano. And then later, I transferred to Channel 4 in Manila. I was with the news center.
Wow.
Panahon pa po yun ni President Marcos. I was the last reporter to enter Channel 4 before the revolution. 1986. Revolution. And later on, I transferred to the Philippine Star. But there was something that happened to me there. Na-hold up po kaming magkapatid while on our way home from work. Kasi yung isang brother ko was also working sa Philippine Star noon. And somehow, na-trauma ako, So I had myself assigned dito sa Baguio. And that was after a long time na, ha? Kasi 16 years po ako sa Philippine Star, eh.
Grabe
It
po,
started in 1987. And I came home 1996. That was I started working back home 1996 kasi nga na-hold up kami in a bus on November 11, 1995. Naaalala ko yan kasi nga apat na parang sticks. And when we were held up, na may mga ginamit na kutsilyo aside from mga baril in a bus. The entire bus was held up. And we say in Ilocano, magkakumplot yung driver, conductor, and hold-upper. So after that, I told the owner of the Philippine Star, si Ma'am Betty Go Belmonte, if I could be assigned to Baguio. And so I was assigned in Baguio starting 1996. And I was telling myself, that was the time na nag-i-start naman po yung NORTCOMM. Image TV. So I told myself, because I was from Channel 4 News Center anyway earlier, I requested the manager then, si Mr. Maki Magpili, if there's a space for me to have a program there. And I thought of Up North with Alambra. And naisip ko nga, bakit Up North ang naisip ko? Yung Up actually stands for my alma mater, yung University of the Philippines. And North. We are in the North, di ba? I was thinking siguro, people come up to Baguio. When they come to the north, they come up to Baguio. And he allowed it naman, si Mr. Maki. And my program started on the birthday of my father.
Ayun.
October 12 in 1996. Yes.
So, ma'am, when I was doing a research, you were in mass media, and up until now, if you could count how many years na po kayo na you have been in mass media?
It's been a long time because I started practice I graduated in college 1983 at UP Diliman. And when I came home, from there I came home. Somehow I always come home. I prefer it here, the cool climate, our home city. Mga 83 to 84, may bagong noon. I just came home and somehow I noted a new news magazine. It was called Highlander. And it was owned by the Prietos, and I was one of the feature writers. And it was up to January to February, because by March 1, I had transferred then to the Philippines News Agency. And that's where parang yung talagang start ko po sa media. And if I may just note that I didn't study journalism sa UP. My course was business administration. Kasi pag pumapasok po kayo sa UP, there's a list, di ba, of mga courses. And somehow parang naisip ko, ang una kong nakita was BSBA accountancy. Ganyan. So I ticked it. Parang may yung quota courses kasi sa UP, di ba, may quota course, non-quota course.
Yes, ma'am.
And somehow you choose, and depending on your grade in the UPCAT, that's the entrance exam, yung UP system mismo ang magdidictate kung anong course mo. So you click lang whatever you like. And I clicked that one because when I was in high school, somehow parang insiguro yung maging manager. Parang it sounds good, di ba, to be administrator or whatever. And so I chose that. And somehow, tatanungin ka rin sa UP po kung ano yung gusto mong campus. So ako naman, I also ticked off Diliman campus. It was my first choice. But nung lumabas na yung result, I was looking for my name in UP Baguio. Kasi syempre, taga Baguio ako, pinili ko rin po yun. But I did not see it. Samantalang one of my classmates sa girls' high, sabi niya, "Oh, I saw your name there sa resort ng UP." So, panong hinahanap ko sa UP Baguio, wala. So, sabi ko sa self ko, ano ba? Linopo lang na ako. Sabi ko, ano ba to? I didn't pass it. Yun pala, nasa Diliman yung aking name. And so, that's an early lesson in life na beware what you choose. Diba? Kasi syempre, life was kind of difficult na away ako from Baguio, which is my home. And sa Diliman pa. But I'm glad that I studied there naman po. And because business ad po ang aking background, then I could understand I could write about business matters. And that's how I started. Pero yung PNA po, di ba, it's a politically sensitive wire agency of the Philippine government, and we focused on development in the countryside. That is why even now ang mind ko is into positive vibes only.
Ay, ano wala?
Opo, oo. So in this program, it would be like that, positive vibes only. And if we see anything there that needs noting and improving, we will do it on a positive note.
Galing po, ma'am, no?
Program.
Ma'am, kayo po ay, you were, as mentioned, you were a former correspondent of the Philippine Star.
Oh, I
Long
started
time
as
ago.
a staff reporter po. Kasi ganito sa mga dyaryo po, ang mga, pag based ka sa Manila noon, staff reporter ka. You have your regular sweldo. No matter how many stories of yours appear get published in the newspapers. But during that time, when I had myself transferred to Baguio City, I was based in Manila. I covered various government agencies in Metro Manila, including the Senate of the Philippines. I was the Senate reporter of the Philippine Star. When I had myself assigned here, iba na ang kwan. You are no longer staff reporter, you are already a correspondent. And as correspondent, iba yung employment status mo. The number of stories that appear is already counted para mabayaran ka. Per story na yan. Kaya paramihan ng story pag correspondent. In other newspapers, bibilangin like how many column inches ang istorya mo. Pero sa Philippine Star noon, yung number of stories regardless of the length. So, when I was Philippine Star correspondent in Baguio, to beef up naman po yung aking earnings, I also applied to be editor of the bago rin yung diaryong yun noon kina Congressman Lumawig. It was called Baguio Cordillera Skyland News. So I was one of the editors there, aside from being a columnist. And I also, of course, wrote the stories in Baguio Skyland News. I was also giving doon I got regular salary there. But somehow I noted that most of my media work were really volunteer works, like I was doing community service without really earning. Like yung up north with our Alambra po, I did that for several years, starting 1996 to like 2004.
Tagal pala po.
And yung NORTCOMM was very good. It just allowed me to have a program, parang co-production. And sa kanila yung all this, and I did the hosting and the inviting of the guests and deciding on the topic. I had freedom, and parang sa kanila, community service din nila yon. Community service ko rin. Ang maganda lang doon, even if I didn't earn anything because it was my volunteer program, nakakakuha ako from my interviewees ng mga stories for the Philippine Star. Ganyan. And because nga, syempre binibilang-bilang mo na yung mga number of stories mo before you could earn, I was also stringing for Reuters, that's the international wires, and somehow you earn a little more. That's why it's called, sa media, they call it tabo. Like, what's your tabo today? Anong tabo mo ngayon? Means, what's your international connection? Because of course it pays in dollars, yung Reuters. But when I started teaching na sa Philippine Military Academy, I stopped yung mga media work ko. Even as I also had, while based in Baguio nga pala, and while teaching at PMA, I was also the Philippine correspondent for the Special Broadcast Service of Australia.
Yes,
and so tabo ko rin yon. Kasi syempre when you're a government employee, you don't really earn that much, no, when you're teaching. And the cadets you're teaching earn more than you as their civilian instructor. And it was fun. I have a very long experience in media. I'm counting, it's more than 25 years nga po.
25 years.
If we count yung aking, kasi after yung mga yun po, while teaching at PMA, I was also invited sa Malacanang. And I was there from 2007 to 2009. I was one of the official close-in writers of President Gloria Arroyo. But my main job was as desk editor of the Presidential News Desk. And so kasama na yon sa sinasabi kong 1984 to 2007, ilang years na yon, And then while I was there in Malacanang, I covered the President's visit to the United States in New York because she attended the 62nd General Assembly. She was a speaker. And while I was there, I told myself, why don't I also apply here? Because when I was in my childhood, ano nga ba ang binabasa natin in the elementary? Yung mga Reader's Digest natin, Student's Digest, and we were always reading about the United Nations. And that's why I told myself, let me apply here as well. And I did apply, and I got cleared for several posts.
Ito po yun, United Nations.
Yes, I got cleared for several posts, and the UN said, you are cleared for this and that, and we will call you within the year. And parang with a grain of salt ko lang binasa yon, mga return messages, because they're automated anyway. But within 1 year naman, may dumating nga na offer from Afghanistan naman.
So you stayed in Baghdad like for how many years po, ma'am?
Yung Afghanistan po muna po, I was hired in 2009 up to 2013, that's almost 5 years. And then I transferred to UNAMI, that's in Iraq. I was that was from 2013 to 2016. Sa Afghanistan, I was there when it was considered the most dangerous UN mission in the world. And I was in Kabul, and yung UNAMA headquarters, katabihan ng palasyo ng presidente ng Afghanistan. And when they fire rockets at the palace, we could feel na talagang nag-shake din po yung building namin sa Yunama. And later on, I was deployed to the Central Highlands region of Afghanistan. So pinagkagitna talaga ng Afghanistan yun, ha? They call it the Siberia of Afghanistan kasi nga napakalamig. It goes down to -30 yung kanyang temperature in the winter. And it's good that I'm from Baguio kasi nakaya ko yun. I enjoyed it, in fact. And while there naman, habang pinapaputukan naman yung bahay ng Vice President ng Afghanistan kasi taga doon siya sa Bamyan, nandun din ako. So, na-experience ko lahat yan. Natakbuhan kayo sa bunker, ganyan. So, nung nalipat naman ako sa Iraq, alam mo sa Iraq, ang UN headquarters naman po ay nasa Baghdad. So, that's almost 8 years, no? And, ang headquarters nasa green zone. Yung green zone po, mapapasok lang yan kung nakakross ka ng mga bridges. Pero yung mga bridge po dyan, barricade. But when I was also in Iraq, na breach naman ng mga demonstrators yung barricade, and we could hear from the UNAMI headquarters yung putukan. And so that's my experience in the UN, no? That's 8 years. So it's more than 25 years ang aking media experience. And so I was telling myself, half of my life, more than half, I spent with media. And somehow, once you've been a media person, it's in your blood. You still look for stories everywhere. And so why not resume yung aking up north.
And ma'am, no, your program was featured for so many times, particularly by Sansar Baguio.
Yes,
And
that's
ito
my
po.
column naman po. Para inisip ko, para hindi na malito, para pareho na. Up north na rin po dyan. In fact, my column was, while I was having yung aking show, TV show, it was live every Wednesday, 7 to 8, over NORTCOMM, and then it transferred to VIACOMM, and then, when I transferred to Sky Cable, in the early 2000s, that's when they also asked for block time fee. And so, but it came from my own pocket because I wanted to feature some, I think it was about panagbenga, because at that time, and some other topics, because at that time I also produced yung coffee table book
Yes.
of panagbenga in the year 2003. And so, through my program that transferred to Sky Cable, I was able to advertise it for possible sponsorships. Pero alam mo, karamihan ng mga ginagawa kong ganyan, halos may mga libre rin like you get, di ba, yung mga messages of the government officials, so they get featured, but that's free. And even when I was correspondent of the Philippine Star here in Baguio base, but I was covering Cordillera. Alam mo, gumagawa po ako ng mga supplements, kung panagbenga, kung Baguio Day. So you'll see more, yung alam mo yung Philippine Star, ang laki niyan. Di ba, so yung ginagawa kong supplement would be 2 pages or nagiging 3 pages pa na fini-feature ko yung city and its celebrations for free to the city. Na ako na mismo ang naghahanap ng mga gustong mag-advertise doon sa Philippine Star. And so in my own way, I help market din yung mga Baguio, yung festival, and also Baguio Day.
Galing naman po. And someone is saying, good morning, Mr. G. And may panibago palang program that I'd be looking forward to watch with Ma'am Alambra. And I would remember, si Ma'am is Ma'am Au also the current president of Soroptimus International Baguio?
Oh, yes. Somehow, yeah. For the biennial 2020 up to 2022 po, 2 taon po kasi nagsaserve ang mga president ng Soroptimus. But earlier, I was also the president-elect from 2018 to 2020. Who's asking po? Thank you for the question.
Ayan, a listener po who's watching right now.
Oo, thank you po.
And salamat po. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to say thank you so much to our sponsors po, ma'am. Ito po, salamatan po natin.
Oh, yes. Oo. Di ba, charity begins at home? And support begins at home as well. And so, I mentioned to my sister na I am resuming yung aking live talk show from cable TV sa radio naman ngayon sa Cool 97.5. And I told her, I asked her, would you like to sponsor yung aking program naman? So she's willing. So that's my younger sister, Jane Rose Alambra Chodoro. She's an executive financial advisor of AXA, and somehow she's one of the top how do you call this, executive advisors of AXA. And last year naging ano siya, yung 10 years na MDRT qualifying member, kaya lifetime member na po siya dyan. Ano ba yung MDRT? Sabi ko sa kanya, and then she's MDRT is the $1 Million Round Table. Parang it's a group of people in the insurance business who are able to bring in that much per year, that much and more per year to their companies. So she's a lifetime MDRT member kasi pag naka 10 years ka na pala, lifetime ka na. No? And somehow she also got an award na siya yung unang awardee na sa buong AXA in the world.
Galing po.
Last year.
Congratulations. Well, someone is asking about sponsorship. Mr. G, can we also ask for or to be like to be mentioned or to be promoted sa program po ni Ma'am Au Alambra? Ma'am, in terms of sponsorship, ano daw pong gagawin po ng ating mga listeners to get in touch with you?
Oh, okay. So they could either get in touch with you po or me, no? Or I was telling my brothers, could I give your numbers also? Or maybe I'll give my email later.
Yes, ma'am.
Email, and maybe through Messenger, you could send me messenger message PM sa aking private Facebook account, which is Aurora Verceles Alambra. I also have a page, yun po ang ginagamit ngayon to stream yung aking live radio program that's is co-hosted by Mr. G. Thank you so much po.
Ay, welcome po, ma'am.
Yeah, for allowing yourself to co-host my program. And we will think of ways later on how our possible sponsors could get in touch with us. And sana nga sa next weekly program po natin sa Thursday, this is every Thursday po 12 to 1 para lunchtime. Those in the office could also watch our show, no? Kasi alam ko yung when you're in the office, you may not open your Facebook accounts, but at lunchtime, I think you may. And now I'm very happy sa question po on how may mga gusto na palang mag-sponsor. I'm very thankful for that, no? Because somehow itong program, through this program, I would like to help towards sustainable livelihood for everyone, no? The listeners, and also for the station and for us, diba? But mostly for the listening community.
Salamat po, ma'am. Someone is asking, Mr. G, I'm a late tuner, I'm so sorry, but I'd like to know really, You know, I used to watch Ma'am Au years ago sa Sky Cable, VIACOMM of the program. And I got to realize that she's a journalist, editor, educator, and of course, UN Public Info Officer stationed in Afghanistan as well as in Iraq and now in the Philippines. Ma'am, babalik daw po sa ating Up North with Alambra.
Okay.
Ano daw po yung magiging tema ng ating program daw po, ma'am? So what are going to be featured in the future?
Oo. Magazine show po ito. So inisip ko nga, like my show before, my live talk show before, I had no plan on who to invite. Diba? Kung ano yung pinaka-in na topic, then I invite yung the concerned government official or concerned NGO representatives to shed light on this. But with the resumption of my show, I would also like to feature the humans of Baguio, di ba?
Ayun.
Yung mga, yes, off the streets. Na, kasi, di ba karamihan po ang nai-interview na feature are the people who have somehow made it in the world, di ba? But it's nice to feature now yung mga masa, ordinary people like me, like us. And it's nice to show the world how they're coping, especially this COVID time, diba? Because somehow life has become more, shall we say, more difficult. That would mean it was difficult from the very beginning. We could say that life is a challenge. Is more challenging at this time, especially with the COVID restrictions that are impacting our livelihoods, no? So hopefully, as we network, as we feature each other's livelihood and our efforts at life, at existence, diba? Maintaining our existence and our lives, then we could help each other because it's networking time at this time.
There's a message, ma'am. This is from a messenger. Mr. G, can I say good morning to Ma'am Alambra? You know, I'd be watching. Maraming salamat. And I'm so lucky because it seemingly today happens to be the first episode po, no?
Yes, it's actually our soft launch.
Ayun.
Because I'm thinking of more formal launch later with prayers, diba? And all. But in fact, yung first episode po natin is an introduction of what the resuming program will be all about, and to invite mga listeners, viewers, and sponsors, if you will.
Ayun. And someone saying, good morning, Mr. G. Ganda ng program kasi lunchtime po ngayon.
Oo nga,
Diba? Bakit daw po yung program po natin entitled Up North po, no? Bakit daw po, madam?
Yeah, because remember, I used to be based in Metro Manila for Channel 4 and Philippine Star. And then nung I came back home, up north, di ba? Baguio is up north, and in my mind, I wanted to feature not only Baguio but also Northern Luzon, because when I was starting in media nga, as I mentioned, we were copy editing and coordinating yung mga transmission ng mga stories from Northern Luzon to Metro Manila. You know, when I was starting with the Philippines News Agency, that was a long time ago. Alam niyo ba ang ginagamit namin to transmit stories? Telex pa lang po. Telex.
How does it look like po, ma'am? Telex po
Alam
yan.
niyo, the office of the PNA was in the RCPI office, kasi ginagamit namin yung pang-transmit po ng telegrams, yung telegrama. It was telegram time pa noon at saka yung mga telepono pa noon, yung rotary, yung kanyang dial. And noon, when we contacted our Metro Manila offices, headquarters, talagang ididikta mo pa sa telepono. And then, naka-typewriter ka yan, typewriter pa noon. And kung nagkamali ka sa typewriter, you'll go back and erase na naman, di ba? So, natuto kami na somehow you write a story na parang alam mo na kung anong isusulat mo doon para list mistakes in typing.
Parang nabutan ko po yun ata.
Yeah, ganun ba?
I remember saying good morning pala. The group, the Baguio We Want Forum is listening. Hello to Edward Verceles, Alambra. Margie Marino Dumaging. Good morning po.
Edward is my brother.
Your brother?
Yes, he's working in the office of Councilor Bagbagen at the moment. But mentioning Edward, siya and my other brother, si Kagawad Regino Alambra of City Camp proper, were my telex operators. Kasi alam mo naman, our society is a very, yung ating conventional society, we are mga Maria Clara types, di ba? And so, they were my telex operators and my companions and like bodyguards, you know, while going around to cover in the city.
And also, we're saying good morning po, na nanonood din po ang uncles and aunties sa Baguio.
Oh yes, the uncles and aunties of Baguio has grown very.
Yes,
it's a very big group now. Yeah, and I'm a member of the group as well.
And I heard
hello, uncles and aunties.
More than 80,000 members po, no?
Yeah, oo nga, oo. So, Auntie Au Alambra here.
and Marlo Avila po, nanonood po ngayon.
Oh, Marlo. Marlo is with us in the Homestay Association, you know. I have a homestay. Yung mga, when I was with the UN, somehow, God's gift naman I was able to nakapundar naman ng a few properties, and somehow I decided to turn it into a homestay para naman kumita, because syempre mahal naman ang mga condo dues, etc. So I thought of turning it into a homestay. And do you know that especially this COVID time, only yung mga tourists from outside Baguio can come up to Baguio, but they could stay only in accommodations accredited by the Department of Tourism. Let me just mention this because my homestay somehow got accredited yesterday as a regular homestay accommodation by the DOT car, and so I'm very thankful. And I somehow also am the president of
Congratulations po.
Association of Accredited Homestays in Baguio and the suburbs. And hi there, Marlo. I'll be inviting my group in our next programs, in our next episodes po, Mr. G.
And Cordilleran Social Group is listening po ngayon with around 6,000 members on Facebook.
Cordillera.
Yes,
I think I'm a
Cordillera
member
Social Group.
also.
Ay,
Yeah.
talaga po.
Yeah, let me check. Because if I'm not yet a member, I'd like to be a member.
Screenshot ko po siya ma'am para
Yes.
makita po natin. Ito someone is saying good morning, Mr. G. And thank you so much. This is going to be a very brand new programming because it's mentioned by Ma'am Au Alambra. It's like a typical magazine, television, radio with a touch of social media. Parang ganun po siya.
Yes, and it could be watched worldwide because Mr. G is a very technical man and he knows how to somehow connect it to YouTube, and we are on Facebook Live, right? And so we are on radio, but it's like a TV show as well because we're watching it sa screens natin, di po ba? And I'm glad that whatever we talk about here could also be heard by our fellow Filipinos anywhere in the world, and even non-Filipinos who would like to know about our very good Filipino culture.
Ma'am, someone is asking, Mr. G, kindly ask Ma'am Au Alambra. I was able to watch her episodes long time ago.
Oh, okay. So we must be the same age, ha?
Ano daw po mga reasons, ma'am, why you decided to go back to revive your program daw po?
O kasi nga, di ba, I mentioned, na once a journalist, always a journalist. And even in my everyday life, like sabi nila, pipicturean mo na naman, titigil ka na naman. And everything you see, I tell myself, that's very good news. That's very good feature. That could be in a box, in a newspaper, front page, mga ganon. Ganon pa rin ang mind ko. And I see so many things then around me, not just in Baguio, but when I go around, and I tell myself, hindi ito napapansin ng the mainstream media, because of course mainstream media, you have mga beats po yan eh. Like if you're assigned to a certain office to cover, you cover that office and no other sources. So, pero ako, because I was a correspondent after being staff reporter in Manila for the Philippine Star, as a correspondent, you could write anything and everything in your assigned base. And I was based in Baguio, and marami akong nakikita na pwedeng interesting story. So, ganun na naman po ang gagawin natin sa Up North with our Alambra. And we will welcome po your suggestions. Who knows, you may want to have your projects, your accomplishments in life featured. We would welcome that. You could get in touch with us, no?
And also, ma'am, we are being watched also on YouTube. Ito po yung YouTube platform po natin. Ang linaw po, no?
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. G, can I say good morning to Ma'am Au?
Good morning po.
As a media practitioner daw po, ma'am, like for over more than 20 years, hitting 30 years, ano po yung mga very challenging memories niyo po in mass media?
Very challenging. It was just covering that time from the mid-80s to the early 2000s, especially during the 80s and 90s. It was very challenging. Considering na ngayon po, yung mga media members, no, you can just write wherever you are using your laptop, connect to the Wi-Fi, and you're able to submit your story. Diba? Even the press releases are emailed, or you could check on the websites or the Facebook pages and accounts of the government agencies you are covering. But during our time po, we had to be there. And ang hirap ng traffic sa Metro Manila, ano?
Sobra.
Na every day, wherever you are assigned, you go to the Philippine Star still is. It's in Manila, no? In the Railroad Street, sa my port area, and every day I would have to go there to submit my stories kasi wala pa po noong email. And I remember when I was covering the DNR, nagsisimula pa lang yung mobile phone. So, yes, wala pa yon. And since walang email, walang mobile phone, pero somehow noon meron ng fax. So from telex to fax, ganyan. And really, it was very challenging. But let me tell you about my experience when I was in Channel 4, because somehow I was staying in the Channel 4 dorm, no, from PNA, and that's when nagkaroon ng yung revolution, and some soldiers attacked Channel 4, no? And somehow they ransacked my place. It was parang talagang nakakatakot with the guns blazing, etc. They attacked the Channel 4 along Bohol Avenue. It was called Bohol Avenue pa noon, and then it was named Sergeant Esguerra after a police officer or an AFP officer. And so sa takot ko noon, we thought, because they overtook it, napauwi lang muna ako sa Baguio, but my things were gone. And from there. And somehow, pati pala yung aking diploma from UP Diliman, mabuti na lang, one of our taga Baguio rin, he was practicing, he had some stint at Channel 4, he gave it back to me. So I'm very thankful. That was Mr. Artibaldo.
Sir Art.
Yes,
Although-
because we started intermedia together. And somehow it's not very well known because when people say, oh, yung mga veteran media ng Baguio dyan, and somehow because we are quite silent, people didn't know that we were mga contemporaries. So it's nice to, I'm mentioning yung mga kasama kong mga veterano, no? We were able to enter the media even during the time of President Marcos, to President Cory, and then to the other presidents. So that was one of my talagang parang you were face to face with death when they occupied Channel 4 during the so-called revolution.
Ma'am, someone is greeting you. Good morning. Mr. G, kindly say good morning. Happy New Year to Ma'am Alambra.
Happy New Year din po sa lahat, to all of us.
Naway may feature din po sa program po niya ang kalagayan po ng mga home for rent sa Baguio as well as mga transient houses daw po, kung kumusta na daw po sila.
Okay. Sige, we will be featuring ang mga ito po, kasi alam nyo, somehow there's a move to shift from the word transient to homestay.
Ay,
Pero ang
homestay.
meaning ng homestay po, to be accredited, you have to have training with the Department of Tourism, and of course you have to have your business permit, your DTI name, registration, and there's a list that we have to comply with to be within ASEAN standards. Kasi syempre the Philippines is part of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and there's homestays everywhere in the ASEAN, and there are standards that we have to follow para yung mga nagho-homestay na taga other countries in Asia, when they come to the Philippines, standard yung ating homestay, no? And we'll be featuring them one of these days.
And Ma'am Jane Rose Alambra Chodoro started a watch party. Ate Au live at 97.5 Cool FM.
Wow! That's nice that she was able to watch it, because somehow I wasn't able to tell them that if we go live, it will be from my page, not from the account.
And of course, ma'am, we would like to make mention again, Ma'am Jane Rose Alambra Chodoro.
Yes. That's my younger sister. She also has mga causes that she's supporting, yung especially yung mga children with autism.
Ang galing naman po.
Yes, that's one of her volunteer works also.
Thank you so much for the sponsorship, ma'am. And we
I hope it will be
heard.
monthly, not just for this month.
So in case you need info about health, investment, education, motor, property, and many more, kindly keep in touch with Ma'am Jane Rose Chodoro.
Kasi alam niyo ba kung bakit naisip ko na siya ang one of our sponsors? Kasi this COVID time, di po ba, we never know when our time will be up.
Yes,
Diba?
ma'am.
On Earth. Yung mga biglang friends mo, biglang mga nawawala. And, the latest who died, allegedly, maybe reportedly, of COVID causes was General Danilo Lim. And, when I was starting with the media sa PNA, I used to cover PMA. Of course, that's one of the main news sources in Baguio City. He was the aide-de-camp of General Jose Carlos Zumel. Jose Maria Zumel, no? And he's a graduate of West Point. And somehow, nung nag-anak ako ng kasal sa isa sa mga pamangkin ko, he was paired with me. It's very sad. He's a very good public servant. And so, inisip ko, because of this COVID na hindi natin talaga alam kung paano ba ito, what's causing it, how is it transmitted, so we are very careful. So, naisip ko, it's at this time that we need insurance for our families, if not for health insurance, but life insurance for the people, for the family members who we will be leaving behind. Although, of course, we pray to God to give us long lives, long and healthy lives, and with His grace, happy and possibly wealthy lives.
Congratulations
Yeah.
po. And we're saying good morning to Ma'am Marilyn Dilig, Ma'am Jane Rose Alambra Chidoro. God bless you all daw po, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're relatives of mine. Yeah.
Ayan lang po.
Yes, yes.
Someone is asking po dito sa aking messenger, Mr. G, can you say good morning to Ma'am Alambra?
Yes, good morning din po.
Ayun. Ma'am, during yung episodes po galing sa Sky Cable, VIACOMM ng Up North po natin, ano po yung mga na-feature niyo po dati during those
Alam mo, iba-iba.
episodes?
Even, it got known because even then, senators would call and say, can I be in your show in Up North? And yeah, sure, I love that. And I even had Senator Alvarez.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was I used to cover DNR and he was the secretary, environment secretary. And so when I had the show, I had him also as one of my guests. Even P. Cayetano, who wasn't a senator then, I think the father was just running. I featured them in my show because I was, as I said, Senate reporter of the Philippine Star, and I covered in the Senate, and they're all over the Philippines. We covered the senators in their meetings in aid of legislation. Yes. And just to recall, in my first episode, the opening episode on October 12, 1996, I started then, as I said, we start with the family. In, my first guests were, because our ancestral barangay is City Camp proper, I invited they both became councilors, no? Councilor Braulio and Lilia Yaranon. They were my opening guests for my show Up North.
Galing naman po. Someone is making a comment, Mr. G. Thank you so much. So, what day again and yung oras daw po, ma'am, ng ating radio show po, ma'am?
10 to 12. Para maski lunchtime, you can watch po.
Ayan, maganda po siya.
Yes,
Hello, someone is asking, Mr. G, can I ask Ma'am Alambra, this pandemic po, ma'am, naway mai-feature din po natin yung ating mga frontliners.
Oh, yes, Yes, the individual frontliners,
Most especially
those who got the COVID also and recovered. And even those who did not recover, it would be nice to feature their families and how they're coping with the loss of their loved one.
Ayun, someone is asking pa rin po, ma'am. Mr. G, can I ask Ma'am Alambra, what's the Facebook page of Up North daw po, ma'am?
Oh, as we agreed, I meant to create this Facebook page for Up North, but I hope to be able to create it within the week. Para Up North din ng pangalan niya po, para mahanap niyo kaagad. And then I will share it with Mr. G so that he could share it with the various groups in Baguio City. With somehow yung mga groups natin are rising, no? It
Yes, ma'am.
shows that we, people, humans, we like to communicate, we like to network, we like to know what's happening in the world through the eyes of our fellow Baguioites, no? And so talagang tumataas na ang membership ng mga like uncles and aunties, Baguio forever. In my heart, I'm a member of that as well. And thank you all. Hopefully you're all watching because I know they're your friends. Mr. G. You are
you.
very actively communicating with them.
Salamat po, ma'am. Ito, someone is asking, Mr. G, I'm a student of mass comm. My question, ma'am, is there a difference between like mass media work abroad, like in Baghdad, in Afghanistan, as compared to the Philippines?
Okay. Yun pong work ko sa United Nations, no? Yeah, you can say it's media, but it's more like my job in Malacanang, where I was the close-in writer of the president. So you write about what the president is doing in her official capacity, no? And your newspaper, your media outlet is the world. And in the United Nations in Afghanistan, I was with the Strategic Communications and Spokespersons Unit. And in Baghdad, I was with the Public Information Office. Iba-ibang mga pangalan ng offices namin, but we do the same things po. We feature the organization, the United Nations, and somehow yung sa amin sa press office, kami yung nag-organize ng mga press conferences po, and we feature not only the UNAMA is the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, we also feature yung UN country team. The UN country team is composed of the agencies of the United Nations that are focused on the humanitarian field. Yung UNAMA is political, but somehow in the setup of the UN, yung political ang nagko-coordinate sa mga UN agencies like iba-iba, UNHCR, World Food Program, World Health Organization, UNFPA, ganyan. Maraming mga agencies yan. So, for 2 years, I was based in Kabul, and after 2 years, I was deployed nga to Bamyan, and there I covered all the agencies. And it's winter time. Ang tawag namin sa UN is yung mga projects nila winterization. Kasi nga yung lugar ko may duty station, talagang makapal ang yelo, malamig, and so UN agencies would every winter time bring assistance to the populace, yung mga thick blankets, lutuan, etc. No, stove. And ganun din sa Baghdad naman, when I was assigned there, it became the most dangerous mission na naman, UN mission in the world. So, from the Taliban to the ISIS. So, na-experience ko lahat yan. So, I was telling myself, okay yatang gumawa yata ako ng libro about my experiences. Like, so, alam mo, nung nasa Baghdad kami, that yung ISIS was, talagang was attacking, and so we had to be relocated to Jordan, and later on from Jordan to Kuwait. Kuwait just south of Iraq, because the United Nations has a back office there, and so we held office there. And as a public information officer, mostly ang work ko editor. Kasi nga yun ang ating somehow mga taga Baguio, we're good at yung ating yung language ng mga nagstay dito. So, I was editor also in Malacanang. Naturally, automatically, I edit the language of even in where I am assigned. And alam mo, nung na-mention ko nga na in Baghdad, we were flown to Jordan, in Amman, and then in Kuwait. Sa Kuwait naman, alam nyo, pag nagko-cover tayo, ang mga dangers, not just yung mga pasabog, mga rocket dyan, no, but also yung sandstorm. In Kuwait, the sandstorm and yung temperature, parang I was there during the hottest day in 2014, na parang it's a world record in the 50s. Diba tayo ay up to like 36, mainit na, diba? Na-try ko rin, mga 40s to 50s there.
Grabe po, no?
Yes.
And someone is greeting you, ma'am. Mr. G, can you say good morning? I'm a member of Seroptimus International Baguio. Thank you so much, Ma'am Alambra, supporting the cause of women. Ma'am, ano po itong Seroptimus International Baguio?
Oh, okay. So, Seroptimus International of Baguio, they are, it's composed of women who are into helping other women, especially in eliminating violence against women and girls. And we have yung mga identifying projects. We adopt barangays, we adopt schools, we adopt the women and children protection desk of the PNP. And for SI Baguio, we adopted Station 9, WCPD, and next week we are adopting Irisan, Barangay Irisan, particularly the urban gardeners of Irisan, and we are partnering with the Department of Agriculture in the Cordillera Administrative Region, led by RED, or Regional Executive Director, Dr. Cameron Odsi. And later on, we will choose a school kung saan po kami naman mag-share ng Dream It, Be It program namin to get the female students to focus first on education and not yet on getting into relationships that will just derail your future.
More greetings. Good morning, Mr. G. Today happens to be so monumental. Why? Because the first episode po ngayon, ma'am, no? Ng ating radio show. Ito, someone's asking, how can I get in touch with Ma'am Alambra? Ayan, how can they get in touch daw?
You could, send me message dun sa aking messenger sa Aurora, Verceles, Alambra. Although, of course, naka-program kasi siya na if you're not my friend, I don't see your message. But knowing that some of you, sana most of you, would like to get in touch, then I will open Messenger and check on the messages even from non-friends on Facebook. Thank you.
Ayan. Ma'am, when it comes to information dissemination, how would you compare like years ago as opposed to our generation now? Kasi dati, internet came around 1970s. Pero for military operations. Pero ngayon, we have social media. Are they different po, ma'am?
Parang, di ba? Ngayon, with social media, everybody is a journalist, in fact.
Ayun.
Right? And it's a challenge. But, the main, my rules sa journalism po, because in sharing our thoughts, parang nagko-columnist ka na doon nag-editorialize ka pag nag-share ka ng thoughts mo, opinions mo. But sa journalism, when you're a reporter, writer, you may not editorialize, you may not include your opinion, no? Parang straight news lang. Just put the what, where, when, why, and the age, no? How. So basta kompleto yun, istorya na yun. Doon nga sa mga wires mga maski isang line pa lang, nandun na lahat yung istorya and the story will follow. And yung advent ng social media, talagang na-revolutionize din ang media, no? I think it's a challenge to them then because yung like Facebook, diba? Parang Facebook somehow gave you the chance to also feature yourself to the world. Noon ang media would feature kung sino yung mga kung sino ang mga victims, kung sino ang gumawa nito, sino ang nanalo dyan, sino ang ganito, di ba? Pero now even the massa us, anyone can already create a Facebook account, Instagram, and other Twitter account, and you could voice your opinion. You could even be the reporter of the moment when you see, somehow get videos of what's happening, lightnings, somebody falling from buildings, right? So I advise na pag gumawa po tayo niyan, like if we have to share news that may destroy the reputation of anyone, ang rule po sa media is equal time, equal space. Kung may nakuha po kayong story against a person, get his or her side at the same time. Hindi yung isusulat nyo ngayon yung story, destructive story, and then bukas pa or some other time in the future nyo kukunin yung side nung person involved. That's unfair po. Dapat, pag sinulat mo na ngayon yung nakuha mong story that may be negative to a person, get his or side already and publish it on the same page. No? Like, because if you write a story now that may be destructive and it's on the front page, but later on you will get yung iba nga baka hindi pa kinukuha yung other side, no? So yun pang na-mention ang really magsisik out ng media attention or goes to the media that featured him somehow, him or her, to air his side. And pag nailagay sa inner pages po yun, sa inside pages, baka hindi na makita na may side din pala siya. Kaya nga ang pinaka-importante po, equal time, equal space.
I like it, Ma'am. Equal time, equal space.
Opo.
Ma'am, bakit binabalik-balikan niyo ang mass media? Nasa puso niyo po ang mass media.
Oo naman
what's
po.
the reason behind po, Ma'am?
Oo. Yes, oo naman po. Parang somehow, because of my experiences in the world, di ba, marami kang nakikita na that I think should also be featured or should be out in the open, like maraming mga stories na hindi napapansin, and like there are laws that they're not being implemented, no? Baka they have been forgotten, especially kasi kung ano kasi ang yun ang everybody will have to write that. Kasi I understand naman sa media, pag lumabas sa isang dyaryo na hindi mo nakuha, na-scoop ka. Di ba? Scoop. So, you have to, because of this scoop mentality, pag na-scoop ka, malaking kasalanan yan sa media, sa iyong media outlet. Na headline pa sa kabilang dyaryo o sa radio station, and then sa'yo, hindi mo na isulat. That's a mortal sin in media. And so somehow, because of that, halos kung anong sinulat ng isang dyaryo or TV or radio station, dapat meron ka rin. So somehow, yung mga hindi masyadong na-feature, hindi may be just there, not being featured, but hopefully in this program, because there are so many journalists already covering the mainstream agencies of government, then maybe tayo naman, yung mga not often seen, not often heard, ang ating i-feature. So, we'd be very thankful if you will suggest, no, call our attention to, like, say, Auntie Al, as in uncles and aunties of Baguio. No? Auntie
They're
Al.
watching right now.
Yeah.
Uncles and aunties sa Baguio.
Yeah, they'll say, alam nyo ba na nangyayari ito? Baka we could cover, or who knows, we might be able to cover, we might be able to invite them pa. No? Okay? So, just hold on there, and we will get to you.
Salamat po. And many are making reactions, good reactions actually. Mr. G, can you say good morning to Ma'am Alambra?
Good morning din po.
I know there's going to be a different programming na kakaiba po siya. Maraming salamat. So, by next week daw po, ma'am, Thursday next week, 12 to 1, what
12
can
to
they
1.
expect?
Okay. So, I will be thinking of what to feature. Although just before coming here, I googled because, of course, I was a UN Public Information Officer in Afghanistan and Iraq. Alam mo, yung mind namin nakafocus sa mga international days, UN days. And so, nakalagay dyan, I in fact have a list here. So, inisip ko, siguro ito ang i-feature ko. Nasaan na nga ba yun? Pero it has to have relevance naman sa context natin, dito sa community natin. Kasi, here, like, why do we always feature yung International Days of the UN? The UN says international days are occasions to educate the general public on issues of concern, to mobilize political will and resources to address global problems, and to celebrate and reinforce achievements of humanity. So that will be that's our vision then of featuring mga UN days, no? And on February 4, for instance, that's World Cancer Day. Ano pa? And marami. And on 13 of February, that's World Radio Day. So we should have, we come up with something. And 20 February, World Day of Social Justice. Maraming related sa atin, and especially, alam mo, ang pinaka-in na UN Days sa United Nations ay yung March 8, that's International Women's Day, and yung September 21, yun po ang International Day of Peace, International Peace Day. Pero siyempre sa atin, di ba, that's the anniversary of the Declaration of Martial Law. So inisip ko, hindi kaya nag-research yung nag-set ng September 21 for International Peace Day. But anyway, yung mga schedules po natin, ano ba ang mga suggestions nyo? Just type your suggestions. Si Mr. G is checking on all your comments.
Ma'am, uncles and aunties are watching.
In fact, I was thinking I'll invite them.
Ma'am, Esther Oras Bongay, Maria Victoria Cueto, Sir Junior Villanueva, Ellen Calama Francia,
Hi, hello po.
Richard Dalilis, Eric Tenoyan, and many more po. Salamat po.
Thank you.
And of course, as we end the pilot episode of Up North with Alambra, ano pong mensahe niyo po, ma'am, sa ating mga nanonood po ngayon?
Okay, so my message would be, or for now, no, because I was thinking of coming up with a formal launch maybe next week. But for now, I would like to thank you all muna for tuning in to our show. You didn't know we were gonna have a show today, that it was gonna start today, at 12 to 1, but thankfully, Mr. G is here, and he's connected to all of you. And somehow, you got to find out about the resumption of my, is it 30-year-old show? It started in 1996. No, so that's how many years ago. And somehow, kung may mga times na like walang UN Day to feature, walang Baguio Day, or whatever days we are featuring in the Philippines, commemorating, celebrating, we will invite the humans of Baguio and the Cordilleras and even in northern Luzon, because I was thinking, what is north? You were asking a while ago, why north?
Ah, yes, ma'am.
Di ba? Di po ba, Mr. G? And I was telling myself, north of Manila, Northern Philippines. Northern Philippines is Luzon, di ba? Or is it north of the equator? Or is it north of the galaxy? Yeah? Okay, so we will fine-tune our title later on, but it's a good title to resume our earlier cable TV show. And I'm very thankful to all those watching who mentioned that they used to watch me so many years ago, no? And that was my community contribution. As I told you, I didn't earn anything from hosting my cable TV show. It may be like that as well now, but it would be nice if you could sponsor. Then we could donate to groups that need our help. Okay?
Ma'am,
Thank you.
Sir Ed Beltran is also watching.
Yeah, hi.
Sir Ed
Hello
Beltran.
po.
Salamat po.
Yes.
And of course, ma'am, your New Year's message for our listeners.
For our New Year's message. Ano ba ang New Year's message natin? We are glad to just be alive, no, at this COVID time. And let's take care of our health. Sabi nga, let's stay home muna. And in fact, I was gonna ask you, Mr. G, yung mga times when we are told to stay home, maybe we could hold this program via Zoom.
Ah, yes, ma'am. Exactly.
Yeah, so that
Opo.
even if I'm not in Baguio, I could be like anywhere, then I could connect on Zoom. Anyway, it's like you're right there,
Yes, ma'am.
together, seeing each other on the screen.
That's the power of technology.
Yes. So, for the New Year message, I came here without any script. It's anything goes, anything that comes to mind, and so I am limiting my New Year message to that. It's 2021 in numerology. When I was a student at UP Diliman, and I am an introvert. I don't go out. I just stay in the dorm, and I read, and even now I read. And some of the books that I read to while away the time were books on on this divination, etc. And so one of them is numerology, and but of course this is man-made, no? It's 2021. 20, you add all the letters of 2021, that's 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. And in the Western numerology, that means money. Yes, it's finances coming to you. And hopefully finances, God will prosper us this year so we could settle our accountabilities, our responsibilities, no? And that would be welcome, and that's what we pray to God for this year, for all of us.
Salamat po. Ma'am, Sir Nick Nibrida Nyalia, one of the best na punong barangays in Baguio.
Yes, I know him.
Watching.
I went to his barangay.
Oh, Sir Nick Nibrida Nyalia.
Somewhere in Aurora Hill.
Yes,
I climbed the hill there.
Wow. And Sir
Yes.
Pancho Snara is also watching.
Oh, okay. Hello po.
Uncles and aunties po. Juan Coy Nazaro Jr. is also watching po, ma'am.
Hello.
Salamat po. So, ma'am, you're to invite them once again to check us out next week, Thursday po.
Yes, please. We don't know yet for sure who we will be having as our guest. I was even thinking of inviting my contemporaries in media to be here also discussing with our chosen guests. You could also invite your friends, Sir Mr. G, so that we could...
Pwede natin imbitahan po yung
yes.
DSWD Secretary, si Director Leo Quintilla.
Okay.
About yung about DSWD SSS pwede rin po, ma'am.
Yes, SSS.
Pag
Kasi
ED.
me, I paid my SSS but somehow my files are in different locations. I forgot my SSS number. So how could I apply later on for my pension?
Yeah, I can keep in touch with them po, ma'am.
Yeah, and even
Siya.
GSIS.
Ayun.
Yes.
Galing po.
And I was also thinking of also inviting yung DA car because thankfully they are co-sponsoring our Adopt a Barangay in Irisan, especially the Puroks, where the residents are mostly urban gardeners in Purok 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, and 21. But we will start with Purok 18 on, next week. Yes, so for those who are watching from Irisan, the urban gardeners, nandyan po kami sa Tuesday, and we will be giving away urban gardening packs from the Department of Agriculture.
Galing po, ma'am.
Yes.
We wish you all the best po, madam.
Thank you po.
So, we'll see you once again next week, Thursday, 12 until 1 in the afternoon.
Yes, and you could watch from Aurora, Alambra for the live stream. That's the page, Aurora, and then nakaganyan yung Alambra. That's it, no? Up. There.
Ayun.
Yes. And although it would be nice really to already have the page for Up North.
Yes, ma'am. Opo.
Yes, so we will inform you po through Mr. G.
Happy lunchtime to all of you. Goodbye. See you.
See you. Thank you.